Welcome to Deep Agenda YouTube channel. Despite the second round of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine on the 8th day of the Russian operations in Ukraine, the conflict still continues with all its heat. Russian pressure to seize key Ukrainian cities accelerated on Wednesday, with the Russian military claiming that its forces hold complete control of Kherson, a strategically important port city near the Black Sea, just northwest of Crimea. The Ukrainian armed forces opposed this claim and declared that they are still fighting to keep Kherson. According to some claims from the region, Kherson is now in the hands of Russian forces. But the Ukrainian armed forces denies these allegations and say they continue to fight in the region. Global media, US and Russian media reported that Russia hit the Kherson administration buildings today and took control of the city. But Ukrainian officials said that while the city of about 300,000 people was besieged, the municipal government was still in place and the war was ongoing. The fact that there are conflicts in the region and that there is still resistance in Kherson may mean that it has not disappeared. However, this cannot be confirmed at this time. If Kherson falls, it will be the first major city center occupied by the Russian army since Russian President Vladimir Putin launched the invasion. Kherson also stands out as a very important region for Russia, which wants to unite Crimea and the Russian-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine. Russian troops are moving steadily to encircle key cities in the south and east of Ukraine, with attacks on hospitals, schools and critical infrastructure. They continued to besiege central Kyiv, where a government building was hit by a blatant rocket attack on Wednesday morning and food and water supplies began to run low in the city of 1.5 million. Clashes continue at full speed in Mariupol, another important port city. Russian troops besieged Mariupol overnight. The mayor said more than 120 civilians were being treated in hospitals with injuries. According to the mayor, residents baked 26 tons of bread to withstand the impending attack. As in many parts of Ukraine, the people here are making preparations against the Russian army and continue to support the resistance of the Ukrainian armed forces. The most flash development of the day was the statement made by the Ukrainian defense authorities. The statement said that near Vasilkiv and Brovary, 3 Russian planes were shot down by Ukrainian S-300 missile systems. According to preliminary data, a total of 5 Russian aircraft were shot down, including the Su-30 and Su-35. Ukrainian anti-aircraft gunners also reportedly shot down a cruise missile and a helicopter near Kyiv using a Buk M1 anti-aircraft system. Currently, both Russia and Ukraine refuse to provide information on their net losses, and the losses cannot be confirmed by the two countries. Due to the conflict environment in Ukraine, it is not possible to know for sure the total losses. However, it is a fact that the Ukrainian forces have established a very serious air and ground defense line. In Kyiv, shelling and clashes continue fiercely. Images of a Russian Su-25 bombing Kyiv were shared on social media today. Again, in the images shared on social media, the images of the Ukrainian people who blocked the Russian tanks in the streets were shared. The negotiations between Ukraine and Russia, which were held for the second time, did not yield a positive result, and the two sides agreed with each other for the third meeting to be held. Only one important conclusion that allegedly came out of the meeting was the creation of a humanitarian corridor. It is expected to be based in Kyiv in the corridor. Because Russian President Vladimir Putin has been making statements for a long time that the people in Kyiv should be evacuated immediately. In a fiery speech, President Biden stated that the North Atlantic Alliance Union's invasion of Ukraine would leave Russia weaker and the world stronger. He said the United States plans to intercept Russian planes from American airspace and that the Justice Department will seek to seize the assets of oligarchs and government officials allied with Putin as part of a global effort to isolate Russia. Meanwhile, General Mark A. Milley, top military advisor to President Biden, said earlier on Thursday that the Ukrainian military is conducting a highly effective and moving defense on its territory, using its innate knowledge to thwart Russian forces on multiple fronts. It shows how serious and resourceful he is. Although the strategic city of Kherson fell into Russian hands on Wednesday, Officials said Ukrainian forces are waging battles up and down Russian lines with what they describe as the skill and ingenuity that can trip Russian troops for weeks or months. The Chief of Staff, General Milley, said the tactics employed by the Ukrainian troops included using mobile weapons systems to drive the Russians mad wherever possible. He said that Ukrainian troops fought with extraordinary skill and courage against the Russian forces.